it's good to know for him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Disappointment for David Todd, and that's unfortunate, really. Glenn Irwin, I think he gave more than what perhaps I'm giving him credit for in effort terms.
Yeah.
I think he had to try a lot harder than perhaps I'm making out.
And looking at that conversation after, you would want to believe that Davey has learned more from this race than Glenn has.
Yeah,
Glenn
I agree.
has been there and done it a few times, and Davey seems to have. He will rue this a lot more tonight for Saturday than what Glenn has. You know what I mean? You learn a lot more from losing than you do winning any race. So yeah, he's
but 9 wins now on the trot for the man that's coming to the top step of the podium, Glenn Irwin. Jonathan Ray is here. He'd have been fairly impressed with that as well. Jonathan Ray, 6 times World Superbike champion, has done a lap on a road bike around the course for the fans. And it's Glenn Irwin, and once again, that gets the laurels.
In theory, he could go away with 11 wins here this weekend and put him bang the same as Philip McCallum if he gets the next 2. But I think he's going to probably have even more trouble come these 6-lap races. We'll wait and find out.
I think you're bang on right, Stevie. I think that David Todd, you said it in a nutshell very well. Let's listen to the national anthem. Glenn Irwin, David Todd and Michael Dunlop, 3 top superbike riders on the podium then, and it ain't over yet. We've got it all to go again tomorrow over 6 laps. It is going to be an absolute stormer. Sorry, I'll say tomorrow, I mean Saturday, of course, for the North to West 200. The feature race is coming up on Saturday. I think if you are considering coming here, you better leave early on Saturday, because I've got a feeling we're going to be in for record crowds if the weather forecast continues the way it is at the moment.
Yep, I'd agree with that. 2 superbike races coming, yeah, both 6-lappers.
I believe Glenn is a little bit surprised. By
I think you're right. He's got that demeanour, hasn't he? His body language says that he's not 100%. It's going to be interesting when we visit the PBM camp a little bit later on today. It's the first truck inside the
the only downside of that would be maybe the fact that Davey was stronger in the first part, and if we're going to do a 6-lap race or a superbike race, an 8-lap race, so is that a problem? But obviously the technicians and electronics engineers are going to learn from this, but is that something electronics?
You've got to get the electronicals right, haven't you, Lee?
Yeah, they're going to learn from this, and that would be the part you would be looking at, if that's even
if that's the case. Yeah. But it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? If that starts spinning a bit more, and that traction control hasn't fully worked that out, then what you really want is to get rid of some of it.
It's when a race like this, a classic like this, becomes very, very serious back on for the technicians, isn't it? Now they're going to be doing the data downloads and taking a look at what that bike was actually doing in the places it was doing it, and how they can make those. And now we've got the overhead camera as well, because we've got. When you've got the overhead camera from the helicopter, that gives technicians an idea of where to look. We haven't had that.
But the only thing that is quite poignant is that Todd was 199 on the last lap through there, and Glenn was 204.
Yeah,
which whether or not that's.
Yeah, but is that because the bike is cut?
That's what I mean. Yeah, is it spinning? And cutting?
Yeah, you've sort of
absolutely. It does make a lot of sense, but then we're good at surmising things and getting it very wrong.
Frank Bird Jr. on the left-hand side of your screen, Jordan Bird on the right-hand side. The son and daughter of Paul Bird, the legend that was for PBM Ducati, of course. Glenn Irwin won many races. Shaky Byrne ran a load of races for the team as well, and they've come off the back of the 3 wins at Alton Park. Straight here.
And that'll be young Irwin.
And Freddie. Right. Fast Freddie's already got his racing name and everything.
Is he really? Is he Fast Freddie already, is he?
Got his hand on the trophy. Actually, quite like those trophies.
See Johnny Ray in the background. Are we gonna get some footage of him doing his lap?
I would think so, yeah.
Get it on the back wheel, Jonathan.
And Freddie's motocrossing, I guess, is he?
Yeah. I believe. No, I think he rides on track, like pit bikes or little mini motor pit bikes, something like that. I've seen some pictures on social media. So yeah, he's got a pretty fast dad and a pretty fast uncle and a pretty fast granddad to learn off. So
these moments of taking the shots and all the rest of it that you need up on the podium, of course. At the same time, these riders are going to be. There is Jonathan Ray joining race winner Glenn Irwin, of course, 6 times world champion. Glenn, 2 top Northern Ireland riders. But right now, Glenn will be churning over in his head what's got to be going on. He'll be wanting to get away from this podium as quick as he can so he doesn't forget any of the details and gets in there, sets himself down with his text.
He's already talking to Johnny about it right now. Yeah, I think honestly, from just sitting here, our opinions, I think Davey has learned or should learn more from this than,
I agree.
than what Glenn has. So it'll be interesting. This all makes it all better for Saturday. So if you're not here already, get yourself down on Saturday.
It's coming good, isn't it? I mean, I have to say I was ready to explode just before this 4-lapper goes off. It doesn't matter. Me and Steve are slightly long in the tooth, but the pair of us still jump up and down like lunatics when there's racing about.
Just a bit slower than you used to.
Yeah, well, not quite as slow as you at the minute, though, my mate.
Yeah, we can still outrun you. We can still beat you in a bum kicking competition.
Yeah, for sure. It's been great. I have to say, Lee, it's been great having you with us this week. It's certainly added to the commentary team. There's no doubt about that. And
what are we going for now, boys? Super Sport race?
Yeah, I've got Super Sport coming up next.
So them guys are all back out again. Well, everyone apart from Glenn. Glenn's done for tonight. So yeah.
That was tactics as well. Didn't really want to mess up the superbike kind of thinking regarding what he does with the superbike. He didn't want to interfere with his performances on the superbike.
So I think we've got a little package coming up for the Super Sports, which will be the next race up. Of course, it's only a 4-lapper, but we'll have a little look at what's been going on.
Second qualifying for the Super Sport men then on Thursday, and it was all about whether Cooper, Todd, Brown, Dunlop, McLean, Jordan, McSweeney could get themselves to the top spot. Pole position everyone was hunting for. Who was it going to be?
Well, of course, number 47, Richard Cooper, 4-times winner here on the Twins, very much like to win the Super Sport class. And so, of course, with that, the 666 triumph there of Peter Hickman, prepared by himself. Michael Dunlop, another bike prepared by himself. Another triumph for that matter for Michael Dunlop. That's a new bike for him, but 47 there. Richard, the form for doing it.
No, Alistair Seeley, of course, this year, 29-time a winner, but not able to secure a ride this time out. But it was the number 1 bike all eyes were on. He's going to have a bit of a struggle, though, to try and beat Richard Cooper. Richard Cooper, 4 minutes 33.627. That's 118.0 for him. As 47 Cooper comes out to the curb, he really was trying. Here's Hickman, and right up behind him is the 111, trying to make some, well, slipstream work for him. It's McCormack in there.
There's confirmation. Richard Cooper is on pole. Davey Todd, Michael Brown, good ride from him. 3rd, 4th, Dunlop, Adam McLean, Paul Jordan, Peter Hickman, Michael Sweeney, Connor Cummings, and Christian Elkin.
So then the Super Sports are next up. Another 4-lap race coming up very soon here. And it's just getting a little chilly. We've had to shut the door here on the commentary booth, and that makes a difference. Once that old sun goes down, it soon gets a little bit snappy. And that will make a difference to track temperature. It will make a difference to the grip levels.
We've still got 25 degrees in the track, so it's not desperate. It'll take a while for that to cool down. But yeah, air temperature. And I can tell you, flying around on these bikes with leathers with holes in, as we're looking at Richard Cooper here they'll be a bit chilly themselves for us, certainly on their sighted lap. But by the time they've done a couple of fast laps, they'll be warmed up.
Talking of warmed up, I wonder how much of an advantage it will be for Davey Todd just having to blow the cobwebs out and having that fight he's just had with Glenn Irwin. From the front row of this grid, he's got Richard Cooper on pole, and he's got Mike Brown, who's going particularly good, the rider from Cork, on bike number 16, either side of Davey Todd. I wonder if Davey Todd will try and make a break, perhaps.
Possibly, but he's got to reevaluate the bike, though, hasn't he? It's quite a different bike as well, and it can feel very, very strange if you've just got off of a 200-something horsepower motorcycle onto a 150 horsepower motorcycle.
So let's take a look then at what Cooper has already done on the Super Sport machine to pole position. 41 years old, Richard Cooper on the 47 machine. Let's take a look at the lap he did earlier and give you a view of the 9-mile Northwest 200 course. So for the final sector, coming into the start and finish area, past the flagman's elevated and then flick left.
In your case.
But the second biggest problem here on engines and stuff is actually back shifts, because the sheer volume of speed that you're doing, and then because you panic brake, you want to give the bike 3 or 4 shifts.
And if you think about it, the tall gearing, so the gap between the gears is much its head off, isn't it?
So
Great,
that was a
thank
lap
you,
then.
Richard.
And Richard Cooper completes a lap then for everybody to take a look at. It's just got a little chillier here, but the wind, I'm looking out the window, hasn't picked up. It's quite nice out there, even though it's early evening still. Let's go back down to pit lane and join Philip McCallan and, of course, Stephen Watson.
Philip, reflect first of all, if you will, on Glenn Irwin's 9th Superbike win in a row here at the Northwest.
Yeah, just unbelievable. You know, he played it right to the last corner. Davy Todd put up a bigger fight than Glenn expected, I think. You know, the bikes were pretty even in power. They were coming out of corners like at the same sort of pace as well. They were going in on the same pace in the brakes. So Glenn had to use everything to get that one. He said he had a little bit in reserve, but we're going to find out when the next big race comes. But he rode good, and it was a tough race.
When Davy Todd came into the winner's enclosure, he was absolutely furious with himself. You went to speak to him. What did you say?
Yeah, well, he didn't want to speak to no one. He was kicking himself. He was punching himself. He was just like so upset that he lost, and how he lost really was he had the wrong line going into the last chicane. You know, Glenn Irwin was pretty crafty. He had the inside line. That meant he could control the brake, and when you're on the outside, you've no control. And that was it. So he made a mistake, picked the wrong line, and lost the race.
He's got a chance to make amends here. He's in the middle of the front row in the Super Sport race. Richard Cooper in pole position, with Mike Brown making up the front row in just his second Northwest 200.
Yeah, probably Davy Todd he has to start the favourite here. He's just finished the race. He's on top form. He knows exactly where there's every bit of dust in this track. He knows everything, so he'll be off. And his bike is good as well. But Richard Cooper, you know, he wants to win this. He's been a previous Super Sport winner. He wants to win again. And Mike Brown, that's really his first time out. Well, he's had a few outings this year, but not really a lot. So he's doing really, really good to be on there. So every lap of his after this will just be better and better. But there's also a strong second row. Michael Dunlop's there in second. He's a really good Super Sport rider, as well as other bikes. And Paul Jordan and Adam McLean's beside him. They're also, don't forget, those boys have been on the rostrum here before too. So look, it's going to be, there's 6 bikes there could be fighting for the rostrum, and then you've Peter Hickman behind that. So look, this will be a good race.
Yeah, Michael Dunlop managing a hand or wrist injury, but it certainly, you know, he didn't let it affect him in that first Superbike race. But there are other Irish riders in there too. There's Michael Sweeney, who had a crash at the Northwest 200, who has bounced back remarkably well this season. You've got Paul Jordan and Adam McLean, who has come so close to winning or getting in the winner's enclosure in this class before.
Yeah, no, definitely. All those boys are all determined. They're good riders, you know, and all them boys really have got a fair bit of riding this year. You know, I think Michael would want a bit more riding, but look, they're all good. It's really hard to say. I'm standing here sitting now and I'm trying to pick who's the winner. Yeah, I think between Richard Cooper and out at the last corner, it's going to be a decider here.
It's going to be a thriller, isn't it?
It'll be brilliant.
Okay, Philip, thank you very much indeed. Back up to the commentary box.
Thanks, boys. Well, one thing is certain. We're not going to forget who's going to be finishing second. That is for sure there, Philip. It's going to be a cracking race again. So Richard Cooper, Davy Todd and Mike Brown across the front row. I know who's going to be supporting Mike Brown out this track, and he wants to make that work. Then there's Paul Jordan on the Jackson Racing machine as well on row 2. So keep an eye out for them. Here it is. There it is. The grid. Richard Cooper, Davy Todd, Michael Brown, you've heard us talk about them. Michael Dunlop, Adam McLean and Paul Jordan.
Surprised Peter Hickman's back there. I think there's more to come from him with Sweeney and Connor Cummins on that row 3.
Yeah, that's row 3. And keep an eye out for Christian Elkin as well. Christian Elkin was quite fast in testing through to row 4. Michael Evans and Ian Hutchinson. Remember Ian Hutchinson when he used to be superb on a 600 as well. Will this be the race?
And another man to watch, Jeremy McWilliams down there, because we had gear shift problems, missed pretty much all the practice session. So he is going to be someone that's coming through, and I do believe we've got a forward-facing camera on him.
Dom Herbertson was there as well. If you don't follow him on his website, you should do. Looking down through the order, Barry Ferber's pretty much impressed me this week as well. He's been having a good time back in whatever row that is, as I look down my order here. And through the order. I can quickly say as well on the second wave, if you're in the crowd here and you're looking back to the second wave, we have 2 waves of motorcycles that leave. Toby Shan will be on the second wave pole position. Julian Trummer, the Austrian rider, on the Jackson Racing Honda, and Neil Kernahan. They will set off the second wave of motorcycles. But all eyes, from our perspective, will be on the first wave, the front row of which is pretty familiar.
Yeah, and that power tool mate of Todd's, the Ducati. Yeah, power tool mate of David Todd's, the Ducati, does look to be the faster of the machines. But whether or not Richard Cooper can get away from him or use his tactics and his smart moves that he does make around here, we'll wait and find out.
Is it just me this week, or has Coops looked a little bit more aggressive?
I think Richard Cooper knows that he's got the potential for winning around here. And let's face it, 41 years old, I know it's not at all old, but it's not at the start of your career. I know you're still a youngster there, Lee, sat behind me. Or you keep making out you are, but you're acting older than us at times.
It's getting nearly my bedtime. The best get on with this race. I believe that Richard is a little bit more aggressive because that Ducati has a slight more performance. This is like a sister bike to what Ben Curry rides for in the British Supersport Championship. So it's properly built bike by properly built Ducati team. So it's obviously in this brand and everything, and Richard knows that. I had a quick chat with him before in the interval between qualifying and racing this evening, and he knows that the R6 is strong, but that Ducati is, there's no comparison for CCs. The bike's is it a 900cc? So the R6 is going to be stressed, especially on the coast road, which is the most important bit. If he's got the grunt out of the turns there, the R6 will probably come back in 5th and 6th gear, but I think the Ducati will have the beating of it out of the turns.
Your man Mike Brown is in 3rd place. He's on an R6 as well. I mean, how's he going to go in this?
Well, they're teammates, aren't they, with the BPE Russell machine of Poleman, Cooper.
Yeah, but Lee is definitely a fan. He's a fanboy of Mike Brown.
I think it's just because I'm slightly taller than him, so I've got that over.
But no,
I hope there's a good race. Obviously, we've got Paul Jordan in there as well, and a few others. Obviously, Michael Dunlop. So I think I'm hoping there's going to be a group of at least 4 or 5. That's what we want. We want to see, as much as that first race was great, just 2 guys going head to head, but you need to at least be worrying about who's going to get on the podium. So we want a good fight sort of in the top 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think Hickman will join the front bunch for sure. So like you say, I can see, 4, 5, 6 guys being in it.
I think the problem that we had if there was a problem with the Superbike race, as Michael Dunlop has said, they got away early on. They cracked on straight away, and the 2 race leaders, we're not going to have that in Supersport. We're going to have a whole bunch of riders that are going to be going for it. 6 abreast at Metropole, anyone into the braking area?
Go for that. We've seen it before. Why shouldn't we see it again?
I think we might do. Michael Sweeney, we've heard from Michael this week as well. The 42-year-old now, Michael Sweeney, on the 65 machine. And the injuries he's had in recent times have been huge. And just the fact that he's still fast. 3rd row of the grid, middle of the 3rd row of the grid, alongside Peter Hickman and Connor Cummings. Here is Connor Cummings. I mean, he really is too tall to be a motorcycle racer. I mean, we used to have Terry Reimer, who we thought was tall, but I think Connor is an extra couple of inches even on Terry Reimer.
Well, yeah, he is 2 meters. They call him the 2-meter man. Conrad Coffey runs coffee business on the Isle of Man.
That helmet is lovely. I spoke to him about that earlier. He tried to take the claim for the whole design process, which I find very hard to believe. He can just about dress himself. As if Danielle's listening, she'll tell us that.
He can't reach his socks.
But yeah, Connor as well. Connor's been on the podium here in Supersport races. So you've got just hoping that next little group of sort of 5 or 6 riders can take the step up to both Davey and Richard Cooper and make a proper race of it.
Wouldn't we all love to see Connor Cummings win a TT? He's had so many seconds and things. Clearly was going to win one, and I think the gearbox broke or something like that when he got a good lead some years back.
Yeah, the year of the big accident, he had led the first Superbike race by about 25 seconds, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was gone at that point. So it would be a tragedy if in his career he doesn't win a TT.
Unfortunately, that has been the situation for so many riders over the years. So close and yet so far.
Track temperature's dropping a little bit. It's down to 23.
I think that once it starts getting sub 20, it starts to get a little bit more tricky. But we're going to be okay. It will be dry all the way through. But again, it's the wind factor that cools tyres down. When you stood on the grid here on the coast, track temperature is going down. You come back from your warm-up lap. You don't want to be held around. You want to be getting away pretty soon. So a couple of minutes before we have the off.
The other thing to take into consideration here, all of these other guys, apart from Richard Cooper, I believe, have all had a race there.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if Mike Brown was out in the Superbike race.
He was, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so all of the sort of front two or maybe even three rows have all done a race. So Richard Cooper is the only guy he's going to have them nervous feelings that the rest of the guys had 35-40 minutes ago. So,
but that'll all be gone by the time he gets to the end of his warm-up lap. A 9-mile warm-up lap, he'd have been back down on it, refamiliarized with the machine. Michael Dunlop then, the Triumph MD racing machine, and I've got a bit of a feeling about Michael Dunlop for this race. I don't know why. He just looks like he's improving throughout the week.
You know who's over here looking after him is Simon Buckmaster, because that's exactly the same bike as they run in World Supersport. So I saw Simon Buckmaster earlier today, and Michael was enjoying the bike.
Simon Buckmaster, I tell you what, he was a quick man on a Triumph Bonneville back in the days.
Bonneville, how do you know that?
He liked his old dad Ken, who was a wonderful fella. Ken and Barbara, his mum and dad, Simon Buckmaster. They just, you go back to the very early days of his career before he started racing proper motorbikes. Richard Cooper then, a BPE Russell Racing Yamaha. Can he make this? Can he convert this pole position that he's sitting on at the moment? A little bit of nerves will be going through. They'll soon be gone once he's done this warm-up lap, that's for sure. Track's still in good condition. No reports of anything that's going to be tricky out on the 9-mile course. They'll be keeping an eye on where the flags are changing direction, whether they have or haven't. Gearing will be something that's very, very important. The Ducati then is probably the bike to beat here. As you said before, Steve, this is the one that's won here before. So in the hands of Seeley.
Beautiful.
It looks beautiful, doesn't it? Do you know what? I was just thinking that, Lee. You're bang on. It does look.
It just looks like a baby superbike now with the spec that they're allowed to run and weight saving and everything. The beautiful titanium macro exhaust system on it. Yeah, the bike looks really good.
And here we go. Who's it going to be then?
No, it's not. It's Ducati.
It is
Number
a
one.
Ducati straight away, just blasts into the lead. Richard Kim, that's going to be the question. Next stop is Church. We won't make a pass there. It's going to be the Juniper Hill chicane, surely. But Hickman is fast there. Yeah, he's got great drive.
I'm sure of that. Anyway, and I bet he'll be hugging the curb down into Juniper.
And he's a big lad, so he'll be making himself nice and wide. Oh, who got out of gear there? Who missed a gear?
This is the important part now.
Run off.
Got a good
Michael's
drive,
got a good. Michael's got a good drive as well.
He's too far back though. Here's Richard Cooper. Richard Cooper then is your race leader. He will surely take this, barring any kind of mistake in the final chicane of the race. 4 laps done and to make it 4 out of 4. Well, that's a quarter of the work done. Second place goes to Hickman from Dunlop. Dunlop is put back into third place. Hickman was working a very tactical race there. Steve Parrish, you're ready, absolutely spot on, and because Hickman
5 wins.
had got it all sorted.
5 wins for Richard Cooper.
He said he wants to win 4 out of 4 this weekend. That's the 2 Super Twins and the 2 Super Sports.
He'll be looking around for the Ducati, won't he?
Well,
yeah, I think he'll have a good enough idea because he was far enough back in the group that he's seen the accident happen.
so he'll know the Ducati has gone down the road. So
a little bit. It feels like we've been a little robbed of what we were expecting to happen. So firstly, hopefully Davey's okay.
Davey's fine. Yeah, exactly. And Paul Jordan for that matter.
Yeah. So, but no, really good. 5 wins for Richard Cooper.
Brown got up to 4th.
There you go.
Let's nip down to Parc Fermé then. Larry has got Richard Cooper.
Well, a rather jubilant Richard Cooper down here. And first Supersport victory there, Coops, but it looked a little bit easy for you. What happened on that first corner? You managed to avoid that melee?
Yeah, I think my poor start, Larry, put me in a position to actually watch it all unfold. And I could see Adam McLean going in real hot. David got the Ducati stop pretty good. He was going to nail the apex, to be fair. And before he got there, Adam just absolutely wiped him out. And, we have to take our, take the kind of made for the Super Twin, stature-wise, and Super Sport win around here is definitely one that I've been wanting for a while. So very happy on the podium with the boss, Hickey over there. So we'll have a little drink tonight.
You'll be thinking about Saturday's race already, and obviously, if David had stayed upright in that one, it might have been a little more difficult for you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, hopefully Davey's okay. It looked like he took quite a heavy impact, but at low speed. So fingers crossed he's okay. You know, we all want to win the race with the battle that goes to the line type thing. But you know, like I said, we've got to take a win when we take it. It says in the record books we're a super sport race winner now.
Fantastic ride, Richard. Congratulations.
Okay, cheers.
Let's see if we can grab a word with Peter Hickman. Well, Hickey is just going to put the crash helmet on. There he is, Peter. What, you timed that to perfection, didn't you?
Well, it wasn't really the plan, but yeah, I had to have a bit of a word with myself mid-race because I was just not riding anything properly. You know, it's it always takes me a little while to get going on the super sport bike. Obviously, there was a bit of a melee at the start. I hope both the boys are all right. I'm sure they are. It's a bit slow, but yeah, Coops kind of got away, and then once Michael came through, I was just not riding properly. And yeah, halfway through, I had a bit of a word with myself, sorted myself out, and managed to close the gap in. And I didn't want to show him a wheel before the last run onto the coast road. So my plan was always Metropole, but he's really strong through the Macroboy chicane, to be honest. So all race, I was kind of like, he pulled a little bit on me out of there, which would have made it difficult for the Metropole. But on the last lap, managed to just get it right, and here we are.
Because he did gap you a little bit halfway through that race, so at one point it looked like a third position was going to be yours, but you managed to come back at him.
Yeah, exactly that. Like I said, that was down to me. It's not the bike; it was all down to me, really. It was just I wasn't riding fast enough to start with, and yeah, needed to brake late and put the throttle on earlier, and you go faster, don't you?
It's another podium to add the one last year, but perhaps a win around the corner for the next one.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? I mean, obviously Coops is super fast, especially on the R6 as well. And I said a minute ago, he weighs about 4 stone wet through, which is about the same as my left leg. So yeah, it's always going to be difficult to beat Coop on a small bike, but we'll have a good go on Saturday.
Great to see you on the podium, Peter.
Thanks, mate.
Let's go and see if we can grab Michael Dunlop. Michael just having a chat to his team across here. He's with Simon Buckmaster. Well, Michael, that was a bit of a mug job on the last lap there. You must have been expecting that challenge from Peter.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. I was going for it. I had nothing for him, and I just ran out of pith. We've just been struggling all today, and it's come back to hump me a little bit. And I knew Pete was there. I could hear the drone in the background, so I knew he was there. I knew he was going to have a lunge at me, so I was expecting it anyway.
You will look quite good on the coast road, but you just couldn't quite pull it off on that last lap.
He went tight into the chicane, and he went late as well. So it wasn't rocket science to work out what he was doing, and then I just had nothing for him. The bikes were quite equal, so it left us. I couldn't pull anything out of the bag, but I say once you're sort of mugged in there, there's not much you can do.
7th Northwest Supersport podium. I must be happy with the way it's going so far.
Yeah, it's been a struggle now. This class we've been just hit with a load of challenges over the last few weeks with it, so we're just trying to progress through them to try and make it better and try and make a step.
Great ride, Michael. Well done.
Well, thank you.
That's your Parc Ferme coverage then from BBC Northern Ireland here as we look down on Parc Ferme. Next up will be the celebrations up on the podium, but we can confirm the results. Here it is, Richard Cooper from Peter Hickman and Michael Dunlop. Those three we will see on the podium in a moment. Mike Brown came through to take 4th place. Good ride from him, from Paul Jordan. Connor Cummins and Michael Evans, the two Manxmen, doing a battle for 6th and 7th place. Jeremy McWilliams ending up in 8th place on the 99. Gary McCoy was in 9th place. And rounding out the top 10, Craig Neve on the Triumph in that 10th place. Not quite the race we were expecting, gents, I've got to say.
That's 2, actually, in fairness. Yeah.
I mean,
this was going to be the cracker, and it unfortunately unfolded in the wrong way right down there at turn 1.
Well, having said that, Superstock could give us something to shout about, because 4 laps round here on Superstock, we just don't know quite. This is going to be, I mean, we've got to
see what happens with Davy Todd.
Indeed, it's about whether Davy Todd is fit and whether he's going to be out there racing in this. So we wait to hear about that as Michael Dunlop trudges up to the 3rd place. Simon Buckmaster certainly looks pretty serious. Now he's
does he ever look any other way?
Well, I mean, Simon's been there and done that. Really, when you go back over the years, he was a pretty fast runner himself. You know, in 500s back in the day, 2-strokes. before he lost his lower leg. I mean, you would never guess that Simon had got that disability. I know I shouldn't really say things like that around you, should I? But he had a terrible accident that took his lower leg.
Paul Rickard, I believe.
Rickard, it was Rickard, and he had prosthetic, obviously, and you wouldn't guess that he's got any kind of a problem with his leg. He can sort of leap about like the best of us.
Speak for yourself.
I know. I'm sorry, Steve. But Steve's knees are a little bit second-hand nowadays as well.
Nice close-up of beautiful Peter Hickman here.
You're a cheeky wee man, eh? Lee Johnson, he said it, Pete, not us.
He knows. He knows we love him, really.
Well, good family, nice family. Dave Hickman, his dad, of course, was motorbike racer coming back to our eras. And Richard Cooper comes to the podium. Good ride from him. He'll be disappointed it wasn't a race with the likes of Davey Todd. I think he was prepped for that. I think he was up for that. And it didn't quite happen for any of us here. And if you're at trackside, sorry for the disappointment. We've still got a super stock race to come, of course, live here. We've got the national anthem to come up next. Time for the top three to celebrate their good work in the super sport class. Of course, the photographs and the opportunity to soak anybody daft enough to be stood in the front row with very sticky liquid. Hang on. Can he just take that out with his teeth?
Yeah. Bet you could.
I can actually. All of mine are screwed into my jaw, so I know I can get them out. I've just got my jaws. No problem there. He's got a racing haircut nowadays as well, Richard, hasn't he? Like Peter Hickman, no weight wasted anywhere in racing nowadays. So that's the podium for the super sports. We wait for the super stocks. I can hear them rolling up to their grid positions, down from our commentary position while we get the photographs done. And in the record book, 4 laps again for super stock. McGuinness, Harrison, Michael Dunlop will be out again. Sam West, Ian Hutchinson will be back out again as well. Paul Jordan, wait for him. Connor Cummins will be back out. Peter Hickman, of course. Adam McLean was due to be back out in this as well in the super stock, and he was the man that wiped out Davey Todd. And we're yet to hear from pit lane. We've not had any reports up here.
Probably the biggest crowds, I suppose, that I have seen on a Thursday evening.
Nice to see Jonathan Ray here.
Yeah, brilliant altogether. Just, I was hoping I would have got him back on the Saturday as well, but that wasn't possible. No, it's good to see him here, just, and we're looking forward to sort of having a bit more PR with him this evening.
Yeah, we've got some other sporting stars who'll arrive on Saturday. Former World Superbike rider Eugene Laverty here as well.
Yeah, Eugene's here on the Friday evening for the chat show, and he'll be here on Saturday. So, from that point of view, it's really good. And we have them inside, involved in sort of the hospitality on the Friday night itself. So a lot of our personalities as well on the Thursday evening or the Friday evening. So, yeah, it's all good.
And finally, just a message to people who are coming to the Northwest on Saturday with that fabulous weather forecast.
I suppose the main thing is get to the circuit early. Don't leave it to close to 9 o'clock because the roads close at 9. The problem is the roads around here will just be absolutely chock-a-block. So if you're planning to come, try and make an effort to be here at 8:30 and enjoy the event itself. Buy a program, support us, and just hopefully everything will go according to planning.
You'll not be here at 8:30. About 5:30.
Yeah, well, 5:30 this morning. Yeah. So no. Hopefully we'll get a good day's weather and a good day's racing.
Let's hope. Let's get one more really good race under our belts. Mervyn, thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mervyn White, a man who I have to say grows in age on this 1 or 2 days of the year of some very, very, very high-speed manoeuvres around this
I
racetrack.
think I'm right in saying this is still the biggest outdoor event
It
in
is in Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% it is. It's in perhaps the whole of Ireland.
Wow, that's very impressive.
It's a hell of an event, and it gets bigger every year. I mean, it's I've always been impressed from the early days when we used to camp on the grass over here, and you met a few people on the Wednesday perhaps. Let's go back down to pit lane then. Stephen has now got Jenny and Philip alongside him.
Yes, Jenny's rejoined us again. Jenny, how difficult will this be for Davy Todd going back out in this race on a super stock machine after what happened in the accident?
Yeah, I think it'd be difficult more if he's suffering a little bit, if he has hurt himself in any way, if that's going to affect him at all. The crash itself, I don't think will bother him one bit, but just literally if he's picked up any injury.
Adrenaline will kick in, I'm sure, Philip.
Of course, it always does. When as long as he's not no serious injury, if a wee bit of muscle or a wee bit of something, you'll soon get over that and you'll make it work okay. But as long as he's been passed fit by the medical people, they're very, very cautious. Everywhere safety comes first is paramount, so they're going to make sure he's okay. We all know his bike's okay. Mentally, not a problem.
How do you see this one unfolding, Jenny?
It's really hard to tell now, isn't it? Completely. I'm hoping Dean, if Dean is in the mix, I'm wishing him some good luck for this. He's not had the best time in practice and qualifying, so fingers crossed for him. And I don't know, we've got all the top boys all in it, really. In the super stock races, we've been saying, it's been really, really a close race. So yeah, who knows?
If they're anything like the first couple, they're going to be great. It's going to be a great race, isn't it?
I think it's going to even be closer this one. Those bikes are so even. We look there, Peter Hickman's in there, Dean Harrison. Dean wants a good run on that Honda, and the Honda as a production bike, I think, should be a match for any of these. And then we've got, Michael Dunlop behind that, Peter Hickman in there. So look, I think this one, there's definitely going to be 4 or 5 bikes up front. There's going to be no one of them fit to get away.
A Dunlop win here would lift the roof, no doubt, Jenny, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We'd all love to see him win, if he can or not. Who knows? It's too close to call, isn't it? There's too many potential winners.
And a reminder, these bikes are pretty much straight out of the showroom.
Yeah, absolutely. They're pretty much what you can buy out the showroom. All that gets changed them is kind of the components that you need for racing. So upgraded suspension, upgraded brakes. Other than that, electronics as well, obviously. But other than that, they are pretty much standard. The engines are standard. The brake horsepower is what you can buy out of the showroom.
There's always one way to silence Philip McCallum, and that's to ask him who he thinks will win this race. You see?
Peter Hickman.
Okay, Jenny?
I'm going to give her a Dunlop.
Ooh, big call. That'll be popular. Stack up.
Who are you going for?
It doesn't matter.
No,
You're
no,
the
it doesn't
expert.
matter,
I'm here to
Stephen.
ask the questions.
No, but
I'm
you're
here to
putting me
ask
in
the
the spot.
questions.
Come on.
I'm going to go for, not that it matters,
does
I'll go
matter.
for Davy Todd. Back to the Coventry Bugs.
Nice call, Stephen, I've got to say. And
Bike just being wheeled off there.
We all hope, yeah. It's Michael Dunlop's bike being wheeled in, I think, isn't it? Isn't it being wheeled? It's being wheeled to the grid, not away from the grid.
Oh,
Stephen.
good. There was a bit of a, it was being rushed down there. It was a bit of a worry because it came flying down the side there.
Stephen Hickin from Hawk, obviously Mallory Park, the Hawk racing team. Stuart Hickin, of course, that runs Mallory Park. His son is looking after certain elements of Michael's machinery, and these two have been joined at the hip, trying to develop this motorcycle to work for him and get him exactly how he wants it for this racetrack as it is. He starts at the head of row 2, the 35-year-old.
Another one that's been out in the first race.
Yeah, so he may have some kind of advantage. I mean, the big question in this one really is whether Davy Todd has hurt himself and took the edge off himself at the start of this, as to whether Davy Todd, the pole sitter, is going to be in there with the opportunity again. He's certainly going to be maybe a little reticent into York.
Well, I don't think so, because it wasn't his fault, was
No,
it?
but I
That's,
mean,
that's the thing. The nice thing about crashing when it's not your fault, you don't have any issues really. It's when you've slid off, lost the front, or something's happened, and you're then questioning yourself.
Yeah, that's the big thing of trying to explain that to somebody that doesn't ride a motorbike,
Yeah.
doesn't race a motorbike. When something's not your fault, you can easily wipe that off your head and your own thought process. But the only thing, like we've said, is if he's got a little bit of an ache or a pain, he was really close, his hand up really close to the rear wheel or anything like that there.
Sure.
So all it takes is a little nick or
And the bike kind of went into his leg, I think, as well. A bit,
yeah.
didn't it?
So
I think the problem with York Corner is everyone is arriving for a bottom gear and
Yeah.
all looking for an opportunity to get up the inside. Probably when it came to Supersport, Adam McLean is quite an experienced rider, so you wouldn't have expected him to do what he did, and you could end up with that in this as well.
If you've gone in a bit hot, you can't let the brakes off and go because there's no room to do it. So you've got to just keep squeezing that brake.
Everybody had got in hot already, and they were all running wide anyway, including Davy Todd. So as soon as he got the cutback, Adam McLean arrived like an Exocet missile and took him out. But hopefully none of that in this particular instance. Todd, Hickman, Harrison across the front row, Dunlop, Hillier, McGuinness on row 2, Jordan, Brown and Costamo on row 3, as we wait then for the final indication to get away here. 4 laps for the Super Stockers. Last race of the evening here on the North Coast, Northern Ireland, and again we're waiting for the indication to clear the grid. The final hooter will get these guys off the grid.
He's close up on Paul Jordan, looking very concentrated.
Here we go, then. 30 seconds, off we go. And I'm looking out the window very quickly. The wind is still very mild. It's just picked up a tiny bit across from the coast, but only a little bit. So that'll be behind them as they head out into the countryside.
Would you like to know a little secret? Every time you see the 30 seconds, that means it's a minute on the other side of the board.
Yeah. Thank you.
So that was a minute board. So the next time after a minute, it's going to be 30 seconds.
Aye.
We said
kind of you.
We did say 2:30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
If you can add that up.
Sorry for everyone listening. I'm trying to educate these.
Yeah, you're doing very well.
So you are.
The board we used to get used to have 30 seconds on both sides, one for the TV and one for us. But thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
Right then. This is not because he's injured. This is because it's what he does in his preparation before he goes to race. Davy Todd just getting a little bit of pumping away there, exercising, stretching his leathers, making sure everything is clipped in. What have you got for us, Davy Todd? You deserve something. There's no doubt about that. Certainly after that York corner. That says stop engines the other side. Surely they're not going to do that, Lee Johnson. Here we go then. This is it. What shine is he? And then 37 of Hillier was in there as well. Down Primrose, down towards the breaking point it will be.
Takes that win, and Dean couldn't get down through his gears. That's interesting. He couldn't get back through the gears.
Let's go down to Parc Fermé for the very latest then.
Yes, we're here just waiting for Davy Todd to take his glove off, struggling to take his own glove off. Obviously, he is just with his injury after that crash in the second race of the evening. Hopefully, he'll be able to get his helmet off in a moment. I know you're holding the bike up. I don't want it to fall over. Davy Todd, congratulations. You thoroughly deserved that.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was going to race. Honestly, I'm a little bit sore to that crash in the Supersport race, but I don't come here to sit on the sidelines. I always say I'll give it a go. I'll try my best, and I didn't know what it was going to be like. I thought I'll just go out and ride as hard as I can and do what I can for the boys, because they've done an amazing job with the bike here. It's fantastic. It's awesome to ride, and just unlucky that happened in the last race, but I'm happy to get that win.
Yeah, I can hear the emotion in your voice. This one means a lot.
Yeah, it means a lot. To be honest, a lot went through my mind. I'm sat by the side of the track there. I'm hurting. I'm hurting a lot, and you start thinking, am I going to be able to finish the weekend? Am I going to be able to finish the week? I'm going to be racing. I'm happy that I still am. I think I'm going to be sore tomorrow. I'm glad we got a day off.
Yeah, you didn't think, I'm sure, at one point you would be in the winner's enclosure here after that crash.
Definitely not. Definitely not. I didn't think I'd be sitting on the bike, if I'm honest. Again, but I said to the boys, I'll just give it a go and see how it feels. And I can't not. They're putting so much work to make the bike what it is, and it's awesome to ride. And yeah, I'm absolutely loving my time with Milwaukee BMW. The boys are fantastic. They're doing such a good job. I'm so happy where I'm at right now, and hopefully we can keep this going.
Nice to get your first victory in this class at the Northwest 200 too.
Yeah, really nice to get a big bike win. We've had a few of them Supersport wins, and I never really classed myself as a super sport rider. I was always more on big bikes, and I hate to think how many second places I've had now, but it's nice to get a big bike win.
Well, congratulations. You went through the pain barrier. You're the winner of the Superstock race. Congratulations, Davy Todd.
Cheers.
Well, Dean Harrison down here for Honda. It was so close, that one. It looked like you were playing a little bit of a waiting game, but it wasn't to be, just overshooting the Mather chicane on the last lap.
Yeah, no, honestly, I was sat there about half a second off, and I sat there quite comfortable, and I had a bit of a go on the last lap to just try and bridge the gap a little bit to Mathers, and it's quite undulating that way, and I got a little unsettled, but I ran through, foot down, and went again. But no, happy with the pace, to be honest. The bike's been working well, the Superstock Fireblade, so I'm happy to, obviously Davy's riding really well on that bike all year, so to come here and be that close is it bodes quite well for the coming few weeks and the TT ahead. So no, I'm happy with that.
You were shadowing him, and it could have been so close to that first Northwest victory.
Yeah, exactly. I know. To be honest, I didn't know who was behind me. I had no pit board, so I was a bit like, is anyone close? I couldn't hear anybody, so I just kept the head down from the off really. And I wanted to get on the podium to say thanks, lads. Honestly, these lads have worked so hard all year with everything that's been going on in the background that people don't see. So it's always nice to give a podium to say thanks to them. Also, I'll have to buy him a beer now. So
well done, Dino.
Thank you very much.
With Michael Dunlop, good night for you. 3 podium places.
Yeah, it's been steady. If I'm honest with you, I haven't been at the best place to get the best out of the bikes, but the boys have worked hard. It's been a hectic week, and we're making steps to the bike. We just need to keep making more steps and just keep chipping. So, yeah, fair play to the boys. If the bike's singing, I just not be able to get the best out of it just yet.
Yeah, and I know you've been riding with a bit of an injury too, not making things easy, but you're happy. You seem to be progressing, every time you go out.
Yeah, it's hard. It's the injury that I'm carrying is not practical. That's for sure. But we're not here to cry about it. It's not an excuse to have to batter on with it. But it is, to a degree, it's not practical. That's just the long and short of it. But we're making strides. These boys are riding these bikes every week, week in, week out, and I'm just getting the grips of this. So hopefully we can make another step for Saturday, get a day's rest, get a bit of work done, and I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yes, I know you. There's more to come Saturday, the main race day.
Yeah, I think it will be. There's no doubt. Listen, there's more to come with me if I would be fit. There's definitely more in the tank, that's for sure. But I was just trying to stay a hassle today, to be honest with you. I just didn't want to get myself into any troubles that I didn't need to be in. So, yeah, 100%.
Well done. Great night. Thanks, Michael.
So Parc Ferme then wraps up our first day here at the north coast of Northern Ireland, with Davy Todd taking the win in the Superstocks from Dean Harrison and Michael Dunlop. We'll see them on the podium in a moment. James Hillier just about gets the better of John McGuinness, who was enjoying himself out there, ending up in 5th place. Nona Costamo gets a good finish, actually, for the Finnish rider in 6th place. Mike Brown comes through into 7th place from Ian Hutchinson, Sam West and Craig Neave. That's your top 10. New outright, it's not outright, but it is the fastest circuit record for Superstock, Steve.
Absolutely.
It was quick at the front.
Very, very quick. Yeah, that time that he set there, a 4:19.457. So that's a virtually a full second underneath that lap record. And he was having a push. Dean Harrison was right there with him, but it wasn't quite to be. Get involved if you want. Coming up on the screen right now, we are going to be around again on Saturday, of course, on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, at BBC Sport NI. Hashtag BBC, Facebook /BBC Sport NI, and Instagram / BBC Sport NI. Michael's not looking quite as happy as he.
No, I think 3 podiums is great for any other rider. I think that they have got work to do, as he's readily admitted, both him and on the machinery at the moment. There's a lot of serious faces. It's important to get it right. I mean, and you can see he just got a little bit of an ache in his hand there. You can see him just moving his right wrist, which is the one that's giving him a little bit of grief. I mean, he's a Dunlop at the end of the day. He's not going to whinge about something like that, but it is obviously just playing up. And when it's like that, you're not quite fit. It is a problem. Mind you, having said that, Davy Todd having been bowled up row, Steve Plater comes to join in there with Davy Todd. Steve Plater, many times a winner around this racetrack as well. They're just, when you're at this pace, and we're talking about lap records, when everyone's at lap record pace, you've got to be fit and fast. And Dunlop is not quite at his very best, and neither is the bike he's riding just yet.
And you wonder if this man, David Todd's going to be even stiffer, I reckon, on Saturday.
Yeah, well, I mean,
sometimes it hurts more.
He'll get a chance for physio and all the rest of it tomorrow. A day off tomorrow will be a good thing, obviously, Friday. And he seems to be quite loose. He doesn't look like he's creaking.
He's quite young, that helps.
Well, 28 years old, you're right. Considering he's happy with that second place as well.
For anyone wondering what those green lights are on, Dean Harrison and Davey Todd, that's their airbags alive. That means that it's armed and ready to go. And I'm surprised with Davey Todd, it didn't go off the way that was bucket and weaving into the chicane.
Yeah, that's a fact. Sometimes they've gone off. The algorithms on road circuits are so different from short circuits that they've had to work out their own algorithms to make sure they don't go off.
Absolutely.
When you've got a tank slapper or something going on as well.
Well, we did see someone the other day clip their knee on one of the airbags, and the airbag went off on one of the what looked like bales, but they clipped their knee on it, and it actually fired off the airbag.
I've seen them go off when someone celebrates on a slowing down lap. It's but nowadays they're so sophisticated. Some of them have got one charge in them, so if they go off once, that's it. You've not got a second go of it until you recharge it when you come back. Some have got two charges. So let's take a look back at what we've just seen here in the Superstock race, our third race of the evening here on Thursday. This is what happened in Superstock. Poleman came to the pole, of course, and we wondered whether he would. The number 74, Davey Todd. No such reticence as I might have thought down into York Corner. He was flat out on it right from the go.
Absolutely ripped away on that BMW. Tagged on the back of him for most of that race. This battle is going on third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, and everything. There's Michael Dunlop there, who ran most of the race in third position.
A lonely third.
Yeah, it was a lonely third, but let the pressure off Davey Todd, and he took his first big bike win and was ecstatic about it. But he did say he was feeling rather sore. So as you say, he'll probably offer physio and some sort of system that will loosen his poor old broken or bent bones.
I don't know about you, but I'm going to go for a bit of physio in a moment. That'll be a pint of it.
Probably at the Harbour Bar, will
Indeed, it will be. And we look forward to seeing some of you down there if you fancy a drink.
Are you buying?
Buying.
You were taking me down there. Just take me out for the night.
Just look for the BMW with Parish written on the side of it, everybody.
So roads are open. What a fabulous week. Thursday night it's been. Absolutely brilliant.
That's it then from us. And
we'll see you back on Saturday up here in the commentary booth.
Indeed.
The boys and girls are down on pit lane to say goodnight.
Yeah, Lee, cracking. Nice racing, wasn't it?
Yeah, unbelievable. Obviously, unfortunate, a few little things happen in the start of each race, and thankfully Davey was okay to get back out in that Superstock race after the Supersport crash. Really unlucky, and what we spoke about earlier, that's a pinch point for the start of any race. But yeah, gladly both riders were okay, and he was fit to get out and get the win in the Superstock race.
It was an impressive bounce back and a show of resilience by Davey Todd, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You can see he's hurting when he was walking off the podium. Then he was holding his legs a bit, and his hands are obviously sore. And yeah, absolutely fantastic to just soak up that adrenaline and go for the win in that.
Nation got him his win. Davey Todd wanted the win. He got the win. And Richard Cooper wanted that win as well. So those three boys wanted the win. It was a great night's racing.
And it bodes well for what lies ahead on Saturday, Jenny, on the main race day.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be exciting, isn't it? The forecast is brilliant as well. So I think we're going to have perfect conditions, and I can't wait.
Are you ready for Saturday?
I don't know if I'm ready or not, but yeah, I'm definitely ready to watch. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's going to be great. The weather, like Jenny said, it's given it to be a really good day. So hopefully we get a packed North Coast and we get some really good close racing.
Let's hope so. Lee, Jenny, Philip, thank you very much indeed. as I keep saying, you won't miss a thing on the BBC. The first of our highlights programmes is tomorrow night on BBC One at 10:40. You can also see that right across the UK on the BBC iPlayer. And then we are back first thing on Saturday morning. We'll be live and exclusive on the iPlayer and on our worldwide stream on the BBC Sport website, bringing you all the action here from the Briggs Equipment Northwest 200. But from us all on the Coast Road here in Northern Ireland, it's bye-bye, and we'll see you Saturday.